For a decade, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie reigned as the untouchable architects of a global dynasty, a family so meticulously branded that magazines once paid $14 million just for a single baby portrait. But the golden illusion violently shattered inside the claustrophobic cabin of a private jet at 30,000 feet in 2016. While the world was obsessively watching the king and queen tear each other apart, they completely missed the silent revolution of their 6 heirs. The children once paraded across red carpets as the ultimate accessories to the Brangelina empire aren't fighting for the blinding spotlight. Instead, they are quietly walking into courtrooms to legally erase their father's surname from their existence. They didn't just survive their parents' crossfire, they orchestrated a devastating rebellion. They didn't inherit the legacy, they dismantled it. The origin of this massive family empire did not begin on a multi-million-dollar movie set or under the flashing bulbs of a premiere. It began in the sweltering, unforgiving humidity of Cambodia in the year 2001. Long before the media frenzy of a high-profile superpower couple, Angelina Jolie was a 27-year-old actress standing at a profound personal crossroads. At the time, she was married to the unpredictable actor Billy Bob Thornton. But when she made the decision to adopt a 7-month-old Cambodian orphan named Maddox Chivon, she was suddenly forced to walk the path of motherhood entirely alone. Thornton abruptly withdrew from the adoption process, leaving a young, wildly famous woman to navigate the terrifying reality of raising a child from across the globe independently. Their marriage dissolved into ash shortly after, but Maddox became the absolute, unshakable anchor of her existence. He was not a prop. He was the genesis of her entire worldview. He was there long before the arrival of Brad Pitt. He was there before the sprawling French chateaus and the endless army of nannies. For years, it was just the two of them against the churning machine of Hollywood. When Pitt entered the picture and legally adopted the boy in 2006, it seemed like the perfect completion of a modern family portrait. But blood and legal papers do not guarantee an unbreakable bond. As Maddox grew, he became a quiet, observant fixture on his mother's film sets, absorbing the grueling mechanics of the industry. By the time he was a teenager, he wasn't just a celebrity son sitting in a trailer. He was working. He served as an assistant on the set of By the Sea, and stepped into the heavy, emotionally taxing role of an executive producer for the harrowing 2017 historical film, First They Killed My Father. It was a cinematic love letter to his native Cambodia, and he handled the gruesome historical subject matter with a maturity that deeply unsettled seasoned Hollywood veterans. But his true transition into adulthood took him as far away from the toxic ecosystem of Los Angeles as physically possible. In the fall of 2019, Maddox packed his bags and moved to Seoul, South Korea, enrolling at Yonsei University to study the rigorous, unglamorous field of biochemistry. There were no red carpets on his freshman move-in day. There was only a visibly tearful mother hugging her son tightly in an airport terminal, fighting the same agonizing, bittersweet grief that every parent faces when the child they saved finally leaves the nest. But Maddox's departure also highlighted the deeply fractured reality of his private life. The 2016 private jet altercation that annihilated his parents' marriage had allegedly centered around a confrontation between Pitt and a then 15-year-old Maddox. The psychological scars of that night never faded. When a reporter ambushed the young biochemistry student on his South Korean campus and asked if his father would ever visit him, Maddox did not flinch, scream, or offer a rehearsed PR statement. He simply looked at the camera and delivered a hauntingly stoic verdict. "Whatever happens, happens," he said softly. It was the chilling, absolute resignation of a young man who had been forced to mature far too quickly. He did not need a famous father. He had already survived the fire. A father's legacy is not inherited by default. It is either earned through presence or permanently erased by absence. If Maddox was the quiet anchor, Pax Thean was the fiercely guarded enigma. Born in Vietnam in the winter of 2003, his earliest memories were not of luxury, but of the stark, sterile walls of an orphanage in Ho Chi Minh City. His life was permanently altered at the age of 3 when Jolie, acting as a single mother due to Vietnamese adoption laws regarding unmarried couples, brought him into the sprawling, chaotic fold of her rapidly expanding family. Pitt formally adopted him the following year, thrusting a toddler who had known only abandonment into the terrifying, blinding epicenter of global fame. The psychological whiplash of transitioning from a quiet orphanage to a life where paparazzi aggressively swarmed his family's SUVs at every traffic light forced Pax to build an impenetrable emotional wall. Like his older brother, he tested the waters of the entertainment industry, lending his voice to a minor character in Kung Fu Panda 3 and operating a camera as a set photographer on his mother's Cambodian passion project. But the spotlight never held his interest. Instead, Pax retreated into the shadows to forge an identity completely divorced from his billionaire parents. In early 2023, whispers began circulating through the elite art circles that Pax was secretly producing digital and mixed media art under the highly guarded pseudonym Emto, or M2. While official representatives scrambled to deny the claims, the mere existence of the rumor perfectly encapsulated Pax's desperate desire to be judged for his raw talent rather than his famous surname. He wanted to bleed his own colors onto a canvas without the suffocating weight of the Hollywood royalty label. But the desperate pursuit of a normal, unchaperoned life eventually collided with terrifying consequences. In the sweltering heat of July 2024, the illusion of celebrity invincibility was violently shattered when Pax was rushed to a Los Angeles hospital following a horrific e-bike accident. He had slammed headfirst into the back of a stationary vehicle at a red light, suffering a severe head injury and debilitating hip trauma. As he lay in the hospital bed, the world was abruptly reminded that beneath the designer clothes and the mythical legacy of his parents, he was just a fragile, mortal young man navigating the dangerous chaos of the real world. He survived the crash, but the incident stood as a grim testament to his relentless, sometimes reckless pursuit of absolute unfiltered independence. While the sons sought refuge in foreign countries and hidden pseudonyms, the daughters of the empire began to wage their own public wars of identity. In 2005, Jolie traveled to Ethiopia and adopted a 7-month-old girl named Zahara Marley. From the moment she could walk, Zahara possessed a regal, quiet grace that cut through the manic energy of her siblings. She was often photographed holding her mother's hand, possessing a protective, hyper-aware gaze that seemed to scan the crowds for threats. She dabbled in voice acting, but her true calling was found in the quiet dignity of philanthropy. At merely 14 years old, an age where most teenagers are obsessed with social media algorithms, Zahara was partnering with master jewelers to design an exclusive collection, funneling every single dollar of the proceeds directly into shelters for battered and abused women. She was a silent powerhouse, absorbing the humanitarian ethos of her mother while forging her own elegant path. But it was on the historic, sun-drenched campus of Spelman College in Atlanta, Georgia, that Zahara delivered the most devastating unscripted blow to the remnants of the Brangelina Empire. Enrolling in the prestigious, historically Black Women's Institution in 2022, Zahara sought the cultural grounding and academic rigor that a Hollywood upbringing could never provide. The drop-off was a highly emotional, deeply human moment for Jolie, who wept openly as she let her daughter go. But the true earthquake occurred months later during Zahara's formal induction into the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. Surrounded by her new sisters dressed in pristine white and standing before a massive crowd, the young woman stepped up to the microphone to introduce herself. She did not stumble. She did not hesitate. She proudly declared her name to the world as Zahara Marley Jolie. The utter deafening absence of the name Pitt sent absolute shockwaves through the global media. It was not an accidental omission. It was a calculated, lethal surgical strike. In 4 simple words, she severed her ties to the man who had legally adopted her publicly, aligning her entire existence, loyalty, and future strictly with the woman who had raised her. Pitt responded through PR channels, painting the picture of a proud father, thrilled by his daughter's college journey, but the damage was irreversibly done. A name is the heaviest piece of luggage a child carries, and Zahara had just chosen to leave half of hers permanently behind. If Zahara's rebellion was a quiet omission, Shiloh Nouvel's rebellion was an absolute legal execution. Born in May 2006 inside a heavily guarded, locked-down private hospital in Namibia, Shiloh was the ultimate biological golden child. She was the genetic manifestation of the two most beautiful people on the planet, and the media treated her arrival like the second coming of cinematic royalty. But Shiloh possessed zero interest in fulfilling the world's desperate fantasy of a delicate Hollywood princess. From the moment she could dress herself, she aggressively rejected the glittering gowns and the suffocating gender expectations of the red carpet. She gravitated entirely toward tailored suits, oversized hoodies, and chopped-off hair, forcing the global public into a massive, overdue conversation about childhood self-expression and gender nonconformity. Jolie fiercely defended her daughter's right to exist authentically, refusing to force her into a manufactured, palatable box. Shiloh was the ultimate tomboy, a quiet rebel who dodged microphones and kept her inner world fiercely guarded. But beneath the stoic exterior, Shiloh possessed a terrifyingly raw artistic fire. She found her absolute liberation not on a movie set, but on the scarred wooden floors of a Los Angeles dance studio. Videos of her executing intricate, emotionally explosive hip-hop routines began leaking onto the internet, revealing a teenager who possessed an extraordinary, undeniable physical rhythm. Her father publicly wept over her talent, claiming he didn't know where she got it from. But in the summer of 2023, Shiloh made a statement far louder than any choreographed routine. She emerged with her head completely shaved into a striking pink buzz cut. She was not asking for the world's approval. She was actively defying their beauty standards. And then, in May of 2024, on the exact day she turned 18 and became a legal adult, Shiloh walked directly into a Los Angeles courthouse and filed official documents to permanently, legally strip the name Pitt from her identity. She did not want his money, she did not want his legacy, and she absolutely refused to carry his name. She would forever be known simply as Shiloh Jolie. The biological heir had taken a legal scalpel to the biological tie. She didn't just cut her hair, she cut the final bloody string to a fairy tale she never asked to be a part of. The final pieces of the shattered empire belonged to the twins, Knox Leon and Vivienne Marceline. Born in 2008 in a seaside hospital in Nice, France, their arrival was a global spectacle that completely paralyzed the paparazzi industry. They spent their infancy hidden behind the massive stone walls of Chateau Miraval, shielded from the terrifying glare of the public eye. As they grew, their paths violently diverged. Knox became the ultimate ghost of the Jolie-Pitt clan. He is rarely seen, completely absent from the Hollywood machinery, occasionally spotted in the background of a coffee run, looking eerily like a young ghostly apparition of his father. He has chosen absolute silence, utilizing his immense privilege to buy the one thing fame usually destroys: complete invisibility. He is the quiet observer, the young man who refuses to play the game his parents mastered. Vivienne, however, stepped directly into the fire. At just 5 years old, she was thrust onto the silver screen alongside her mother in Disney's blockbuster Maleficent. The casting was not an act of nepotism, it was an act of absolute necessity. Every other child actor brought on set was instantly terrified of Jolie's towering, demonic costume, bursting into tears at the sight of the jagged horns and the piercing yellow eyes. Only Vivienne looked up at the terrifying monster and saw her mother. She delivered her lines with a natural, unbothered sweetness that grounded the entire film. But unlike the countless child stars who become addicted to the applause, Vivienne walked away. She had tasted the drug of Hollywood and found it entirely unimpressive. Instead of chasing the camera, she gravitated toward the grueling, unglamorous mechanics of theatrical production. By the time she was a teenager, she had become a voracious student of the stage. When Jolie took on the monumental task of producing the Broadway musical adaptation of S.E. Hinton's The Outsiders, she didn't hire a seasoned veteran as her primary assistant. She hired her 15-year-old daughter, Vivian moved to New York, plunging herself into the exhausting, relentless grind of rehearsal staging and creative development. And when the playbills were finally printed for the world to see, the final nail was quietly hammered into the coffin of the Pitt legacy. The producer credit did not read Vivian Jolie Pitt. It simply read Vivian Jolie. The youngest daughter had cast her vote. The empire was officially dismantled. The legacy of Angelina Jolie's motherhood is not found in the billions of dollars her movies have grossed, nor is it found in the golden statues that sit on her shelves. Her true masterpiece is the absolute unyielding independence of the 6 human beings she raised in the center of a global hurricane. They were handed the keys to the most exclusive kingdom on earth, and one by one they looked at the throne, turned around and walked away. Maddox chose the quiet discipline of science in a foreign land. Pax chose the anonymous freedom of the canvas. Zahara chose the noble rigor of academia and the brotherhood of her heritage. Shiloh chose the violent, beautiful liberation of movement and the legal reclamation of her own identity. Knox chose the ultimate luxury of silence, and Vivian chose the darkened wings of a Broadway stage over the blinding flash of the silver screen. They didn't inherit a broken Hollywood drama, they survived it, and they cured themselves of the disease of fame. As we analyze the ashes of the greatest celebrity dynasty of the 21st century, we are forced to look at our own obsession with the idols we worship. We demand perfection from the people on our screens, yet we devour their destruction the moment the cracks begin to show. Beyond the messy divorces, the leaked private jet documents, and the endless tabloid speculation, which of these 6 children's profound journeys of self-discovery resonates the most with your own understanding of family, trauma, and identity? In a modern era where every single moment is commodified and sold for likes, do you believe we will ever see another Hollywood family successfully dismantle their own legacy to buy back their souls? Drop your deepest, most unfiltered thoughts in the comments below. Let us know who you respect the most, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to ensure you never miss a deep dive into the brutal, beautiful reality hidden behind the Hollywood illusion.